Sure.
or running for election. I'm just telling the Wisconsin citizens the truth. In 2010, I made basically two promises.
Yeah.
I said I would always tell you the truth to the best of my ability, and I think I've honored that promise. We all make mistakes, and if I do, I correct them immediately because I want to be forthright. I want to tell the truth. And then the other promise I made is I'd never vote, and by extension, not conduct myself with my reelection in mind. I've kept that promise as well, which might make it a little more challenging for me to win reelection. But
sure.
Listen, my integrity means everything to me, and I couldn't do it any other way. So I am just going to go out there and tell people the truth, the harsh reality. There's a reason they call me Mr. Sunshine. I think that's kind of tongue-in-cheek. We face enormous challenges in this nation, and one of the reasons you don't have elected officials telling the American people the truth is because if they acknowledge reality, well, that means they have to do so. Let me tell you a quick story about our current president. I was with him in the White House. I was one of the small group of Republican senators that were trying this 30-year projection of the deficit, or that concept. That's the definition of the problem. It's not a 10-year budget winter problem. It's a 30-year demographic problem. There are various projections out here. Our Senate projection is about $107 trillion. $107 trillion over the next 30 years. That's what I showed the president. But CBO has their alternate fiscal scenario, shows $126 trillion. $8 or $9 trillion of deficit the first decade, $31 trillion the second decade, $88 trillion the third decade. So, President Obama, he wants everything on the table.
Right.
Tax increases, everything. Fair enough. I said, Mr. President, if you want everything on the table for discussion on this debt and deficit issue, here's how you do it. Show the American people the numbers. Take the American people the truth. Show them the depth of the problem so we can collectively admit we have the problem. I do PowerPoint presentations that go all around Wisconsin, but I'm a small voice in comparison to his. You know what he told me? He said, Ron, we can't show the American public numbers that big. I mean, if we do, we'll scare them. They'll give up hope. He says, besides, Ron, kind of brushing the whole concept off. Besides, Ron, we can't do all the work. We have to leave some work for future presidents, future Congresses. So what we have, certainly in Washington, this is a bipartisan problem. We have reality deniers. But if you really want to sum up the problem with liberalism in general, is they deny reality. They deny the reality of basic human behavior. Again, if you offer people programs and incentivize them not to work, guess what? They don't work.
They're not going to work.
Okay? We have all these well-intentioned programs that have destroyed the American family. Again, liberals deny reality. Take a look at foreign policy. That's what I'm going to be talking about in a couple minutes here. President Obama, and this is according to Lieutenant General Flynn, who is the Defense Intelligence Agency head. Okay? He's accusing this administration of conducting foreign policy strategy based on willful ignorance.
That's a hard nut to stomach. I mean, the commander-in-chief is saying, I'm just going to ignore it.
Take a look at the fact President Obama said, well, ISIS, they're just a JV team.
Yeah.
He resigned his position because he realizes that President Obama's administration basically shut down the analysis of the treasure trove of intelligence we got from the Osama bin Laden raid because it wasn't comporting with their narrative.
Wow.
It was showing that actually growing on the run. That's why he resigned. That's what he's been talking about. And that's that denying of reality, not only in foreign policy, but domestically as well. That is a real problem in this nation. So again, I'm the guy to push that reality and make sure that everybody understands that this is what we're facing because that's what we need to do.
All right, Senator.